Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with James Robert Webb. He has just released a seriously fantastic new track. It is called Gentlemen Start Your Weekends, and I'm very excited to talk to him all about it. James, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your extremely busy week to be here and do this. How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing great, man. We're just getting ready for release week, so I'm. Thanks for having me on, Austin. It's
Oh
nice,
yeah, absolutely.
and
Yeah,
hello
it's
to everybody. All Austin's fans.
course. It is release week and you must be a little stressed, you must be a little excited, you must be a little happy that
All of
it's
those
getting to the
emotions.
point.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this song in the bag for a couple of years, but I just, was I knew it's kind of a bigger song than I'm at, in
Yeah,
my career, and I'm trying to do, everything I can to get a team that can help me with that. So,
right.
yeah, so this baby has been, been in the pocket for a little bit. So I'm really excited for this one. It's probably my favorite song that I've done as far as when I got in first started writing stuff, I always like writing up tempo songs. And when it comes to country, I like a lot of that 90s country that really brought the
Sure.
old time rock and roll. Like, I don't know, Brooks and Dunn, Beer 30, or even like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the Hank Williams Jr. All My Rowdy Friends Are Coming Over Tonight. That was like the Monday Night Football theme forever before Carrie Underwood. Like those kind of fun things. So yeah, for me, this is kind of the culmination of a writer is kind of getting to that point where, we're able to like make fun songs.
Totally. And I'll fully agree with you on that. Like it 100% has that 90s vibe to it, but
Yeah.
obviously with modern elements and like an updated instrumentation and the whole thing like and as
Right.
I'm gonna fully like blow up your ego over the next 20 minutes or so, but as I, of course, as I mentioned before we start recording, like I love this song and I sincerely mean that. I've listened to it so many times since it first got sent over, and it's so catchy, and I find myself like humming it around the house and in a totally like non-exaggerated way. It's just great. And
Yeah.
and one thing before we fully get into it is I feel like for a lot of people when they hear like country music, they either love it or they hate it. Like there's not really a big middle ground. There's becoming a little more on the mainstream side of country nowadays, but I feel like this is such a good song to kind of bring in a new audience of people because it just, I don't know, there's something about it that just feels natural.
You know, I hadn't thought of it that way. I grew up not really liking country because that was all that was played in my house. Like that's all my dad
Sure.
listened
Yeah.
to. And I never really, I mean, I hear stuff on the radio because my parents listen to all the
Yeah, of
time,
course.
like things like Randy Travis, and there's exceptional songs and stuff that, broke over that everybody likes because they're great songs and great recordings.
Hmm.
But I was not really into country until I kind of got back into country, let's say around 2004, I would say,
Okay.
like the Brooks and Dunn stuff, because it was kind of
Sure.
like the last bastion of like old school rock and roll, like on the
Totally.
radio.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
we're kind of into the new metal and a lot of urban and stuff like that. So I don't know. For me, the thing I liked about the '90s countries guys is they took the storytelling, like this lyrical emphasis and like things
Hmm.
are telling a story, and they kind of incorporated more like more modern elements. I'd say looking back now, it's almost more like the old time rock and roll kind of stuff in the
Yeah.
that the '90s guys incorporated, like a lot of the boogie woogie and blues stuff. Yeah, so maybe, and I was just trying to like update that in one way. Like, so for me, this started out as a track, like me just playing an instrumental
Yeah.
thing, and I just wanted to write something that was fun to play on guitar and not technically too hard. Like so when
Sure.
you are learning to play guitar, oh, like Smoke on the Water, right? Like everybody wants to play Smoke
Everyone's
on
first
the
song.
Water in the '80s. That was
Yeah.
the guitar thing. So uh, I think if things like the Rolling Stones' Brown Sugar, that those kind of key flicks. So yeah, it has a little bit of that. It has a little bit of the Donnas, probably like some Kiss, like some of those kind of guitar
Can hear
influences.
that.
Yeah, but I think people don't usually hear that unless I like point out, oh, this lick is like this and whatever. I think the more I saw, there's a reel going around right now with Geddy Lee, or somebody saying like originality is that you have so many influences that you can't even tell what your influences are because
Sure.
everybody will thing about that is one or two little notes from this, followed by something completely different.
I think at the end of the day, though, like so much of making music is like, how do I sound different than anyone else? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
if you have so many influences and then you obviously infuse yourself into it, you can attempt to make something new. And that's yeah, I mean when so many people are making music, how do you stand out?
Yeah. I mean, going back to the whole country thing, I kind of
Right.
really kind of stopped self-applying the country label. When I got into writing, I
Mhm.
had some connection to Nashville, and I kind of made a conscious decision. Well, like Katy Perry and Taylor Swift learned how to write great songs in
Sure.
Nashville. They're not country artists. So that's kind of where I spent my time learning the craft. But at the same time, you had to come back and like make the music all about, something different. So
Sure.
I've been, as a country artist, I kind of did more new traditionalist stuff for the last 10 years. And now it's kind of where everybody's going. And so now I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm not going to be in that lane anymore. Like if everybody, I don't want to be competing with everybody else, I
Right.
really, it's different because I think if I tried to be Morgan Wallen, I can never be as good of a Morgan Wallen as him. Or if I
Yeah.
want to be, Chris Stapleton, I can't be Chris Stapleton. He's gonna be the first baseman if that's first base. I'm not knocking.
No, that's a great
I'm
point.
not beating him.
Right. No, and then yeah, and then you get labeled as like this guy's trying to be this person, and they completely disregard
Right.
you because you've not stolen their thing, but you've emulated them too hard.
Yeah.
Um,
You really just want to make something that's different to me. And
right.
then, you know, you can make super original music that's unlike anything anybody else has ever heard. And you can make commercially successful music that sounds like everything else. But if you can get both of those things together, is
And
that's
that's
my
yeah,
goal.
right. That's the ticket right there. That's the
Yeah, to be
fucking
something that's different. Yeah.
right. Okay, so then
All the
if
artists I
yeah,
love have, sound different. Yeah.
yeah, no, I completely agree. Um, so like I said, this song is super catchy and it feels like an anthem for the ages. Like you're getting ready to go out. Obviously, the title is suggestive for a time to play this, but at the
Right.
same time, like it feels like a pump up song. It feels like an energizer in some ways. What was the thought process behind like writing this and actually like composing it to be what it is?
Yeah, I mean, in composing the track, I pretty much, it was kind of like putting all those fun elements together, making it up tempo. And I
Sure.
think what really came, I kind of had that written, but I didn't. I do this a lot. Like I'll have like a cool track, but it's just an instrumental, and
Yeah.
then you try to find the right hook. And then one afternoon, I think it was a Friday, and I remember it was during the Kavanaugh hearings for whatever reason. It was just on the
Sure.
TV all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the week that we wrote it. I remember because we both came into the office at the publishing company, me and Alex Dooley, and we'd finished with our rights for the afternoon. And he's like, "Well, gentlemen, start your weekends." And as soon as I heard him say that,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's the
That's
title
it.
for this,
That's
dude.
it.
That's what this song is, right?" And so then we just
Sure.
kind of wrote it from there pretty quickly. And I wanted to uh, make it be stuff that I like to listen to, which are pump up songs, up
Yeah.
tempo, fun, go out and party or whatever, like I think what I don't love about Nashville right now is like all the songs are focused about alcohol. Like it's all about the drinking. Like the focus is on, trying to get like, oh, Patron or whatever beer brand or
Right. Trying to
like
get a
we're going
sponsor
all.
in the song.
Yeah, I say that if somebody doesn't know about country, but they put on country radio today, they think everybody's an unemployed alcoholic that was always at a body of water with a
I
truck,
mean,
family
yeah.
girl that they don't really respect at all.
From
Uh,
my faraway perspective, I could fully agree.
yeah, I mean, but country music at its best, for example, and kind of all forms of music, but where this comes from the folk side and what country music has been traditionally is
Sure.
like, it's interesting, intriguing stories about real people. And yes, people get drunk, people go out to the bar and have too much. People, drunk dial their girlfriends and stuff like that.